Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Render. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so we have price history here from November 2021, and because we don't have a great deal of price history here, we need to always be aware that there is that bearish potential where we could see price continue to the downside. So we're going to go over the two macro counts that I'm following here quickly, and then we're going to go into the smaller internals and what needs to happen for both of these counts to play out. So within this, if we are looking at the bullish count, what we were talking about in the previous videos is the potential we could have a series of ones and twos here, looking for a very bullish move to the upside here, where we actually set a series of ones and twos here. And what we'd be looking for is the fact that this blue count is in play. Now, invalidation of this would actually come by pushing down below this low level here towards this 89 region. So if we break down below that, this invalidates this possibility of actually having this as this 1 2 1 2 1 2 idea here. And what we'd be looking for is that we're within this blue wave count here. So what we'd be treating this as is a bigger A, B, and a C to the downside. So if we do manage to hold this zone of this $1.64 to this $1.17, what we could actually see is that continuation to the upside. Though really we'd need to get a much stronger move to the upside here. So off of this 0.618, which is sitting here at this 142, what we'd be looking for typically would be this 1618 here towards this 991. So as well as that, obviously, if we do push up into this range, we have $10 as a big psychological level. And what we'd be looking for is that potential to continue to the upside from this point. Now, if we did actually push up high enough here to this 1407, this could align with the idea of this being a 1-2, looking at this yellow third wave. So this is going to be our confirmation for the yellow count here. So until we actually get there, we need to just be aware there is also a bearish way of counting this. So we're going to go over that bearish way quickly, and then we're going to go into these sub waves here and what we need to see happen for both of these two counts to actually play out. Now, if we are looking at this in a bearish way, what we could potentially argue here is that this is an A, we're looking for a B and a C wave to the downside. Now, it is possible that within this count, this B wave could actually be completed here. And what we could say is that within here, we have this as a W and X and then A, B, C, and this is just done. Now, if this is the case and we're looking at this as an A, B, C, what we'd be looking out for would be the potential of a bigger 5 wave move down here where this becomes 1, 2. We would see a bigger 3, 4, and a 5 to the downside here. Now, given the current high, the highest that I want to see us come here would actually be this 0311 region. So this would be our 0.618 level. So if we are looking at this as a C wave, this would be the minimum that I would be looking for this to come down. However, we can come all the way down towards this 086 region. So because of that fact, we need to just be on the lookout that, if this does develop as a 5 wave move here, where this actually becomes 1, 2, and then either we get something like this as another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5, and we look to push down into these regions, it could mean that we're going to lose this low here at this 0275 region. So we need to just be aware that this is a possibility. It is possible that this corrective move to the upside could also be bigger, which we could see something more along the lines of something like this, where we see this as WX, and then this is actually still within our Y wave, but it would be more likely, I think, if we see something like this, we see a 3-wave move down and then another push to the upside, that we would rather be like looking at this as WX, Y, X, and Z. But nevertheless, if we are looking at this possibility of this Y wave looking to complete higher up here, where this just becomes the A wave, what we'd actually be looking for, if I throw this fib onto this low region here, go up into this high here and back down here, our 1-to-1 would actually be up here at this $8.03. Now, some other key levels here would be this 0.618, which would be interesting here at this 377, at this $3.73 here. And then we could actually look for that possibility of that continuation to the downside still, just actually moving up higher within this target range here. So the key thing here is, we need to just be aware that even if we do come down, find support and push back up here, until we actually start breaking above this $4.77 and actually, finding support above this level, we need to be aware that there is always that potential this could just be a bigger corrective move here before that continuation to the downside. So we just need to be aware of that possibility. If we do see price come back down here, find support, and we look to push back up, it's still not in the clear. Like I said, if we want to look for a bullish structure off this low, this would be the best chance of it, in my opinion. We would be looking at this as another 1-2, so we'd actually see a move up here towards this 991 level for better confirmation. Now, it is always possible that this could be short into this point here, but the moves, like I'll discuss in a second, are looking quite corrective. You know, we need to just be aware that this could also not be completed. It really isn't looking like a completed move. Now, one of the other ways we were discussing this potential here was actually looking at this as a diagonal, where this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as an expanding diagonal, treating this as an A, possibly a B wave to the upside and a C wave down. Now, this is still on the cards for me, even though I am counting this move at the moment as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, we could also argue that we have something like this as a bigger W and X and a Y, sorry, A, B, and C. We could also argue that we have A, B, C. This is an X wave, and then this is as a C wave to the upside here. So we need to just be aware that there is always the potential that this could be A, B, C completed here, and then we could look for a 5-wave move down. So the key difference here is that within this this would allow for a bullish breakout still, where we would be looking for this as A, B, and then a C wave up. Or alternatively, if we actually got a bigger move up here towards this higher level here, what we could actually see is if we move towards this 2255, this could align with the idea of a bigger 5-wave structure to the upside, starting with an expanding diagonal. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. Like I said, this is not my primary account here, but it is still something I'm keeping an eye on. You know, if we do see this develop as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we come back down into this lower region here of this 857 to this 0608, and then we see a break back above this point here, this would align more with the idea that this is a flat correction here, and then we'd be looking for that potential of this move up towards a 659 at a 1-to-1. Alternatively, like I said, if it's going to be a bigger impulse, 2255 would be our target area. So gonna have to just keep an eye on that and see how it actually develops. So we're going to come into here and talk about these smaller time frame moves here. So the way that I'm currently looking at this is that this move to the downside is an A wave. Now, if this is the case, what we could argue is that we've already come up here into this golden pocket. So this could be a completed move. Now, if this is a completed move into this point, what we'd be looking for would be a move down towards these levels of this 141. And then if it does extend out, I'd be potentially looking for that possibility of coming back into this channel line here. We would be looking at this as either 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we look to break down in a bigger way here, looking to come into these levels, or alternatively, until we actually break this point here, which is sitting at this $1.72, what we could see is that this could actually just be a W. We see a 3-wave move to the downside here, and we see another push back up here, back into this zone of this $2.59. And I mean, really, if we were looking at this, I'd say it would be likely that we would be pushing up into these higher ranges, because if I throw the fib on from this lower level here, what we would be looking for as a 1-to-1 would be up here towards this $2.69. So if I just change this over, and we're going to just change the color of this to yellow so that it is aligned with the count. Now, if we were looking at this, we would be looking for that possibility of pushing up here towards this 269. So $2.59 is actually that 0786. If I throw on the 854 here, what we could actually see is, there we go. You see there's a better alignment here with this $2.68 with this 854. So I'd be keeping an eye on this if we do manage to actually hold this $1.85 level, and we just see this as a 3-wave move to the downside here. We could actually be looking to potentially complete fairly soon, because the 1-to-1 has already been met here at this $2.04. If we do extend out deeper here, what we could see is potentially moving down towards this 1382 here at this $1.95. But if we push down to this 1618 at this 191, we'd have to be careful, because this could actually be starting to form a bigger 5-wave move, where we treat this as a wave 1, 2, this is a 3rd, 4th, and a 5th. Now, that is because there is a couple of ways of counting this move, and we could argue that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as a diagonal into here. This is a 2, and then we'd be looking for that extension down. But, you know, we'd have to get some additional structure here to the downside and actually hit this $1.91 for more confirmation. If we do see a move down into these levels, what we'd then be looking for would be actually maintaining this zone of this high here, this $2.27, if we're looking for that continuation to the downside. However, we need to be aware, you know, we can still see price actually move down to this 1618 and still look to reverse to the upside. So just hitting this 1618 is not enough. We need to see that confirmation of the 4th and the 5th to say that we have a 5-wave move down here. Now, like I said, if we are looking at this as an ABC, then potentially we'd be looking for this lower target here of this 141. If we did form this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I'd be on the lookout for 3 waves up, and then another 3rd, 4th, and 5th to the downside, looking to bring us down into some of these lower levels. So it's going to be key if we are looking at that bearish scenario that, you know, we stay below this point of this $2.39. If we're looking for that bullish scenario, what we'd want to see is you know, a move down here and then finding support and then looking to push to the upside, because in that bullish count here where we're arguing that we have this as an additional 1 and 2, what we want to see is a move back down here into this 164 to this 117. As long as this 117 area holds, I would be looking out for that potential coming back into this channel, finding support, and then looking to rally back to the upside. But really, we'd have to be careful, because if we start to lose this, what we could actually see is, you know, a bigger sell-off to the downside, where we could actually start to hit some of those more bearish targets. Okay, so now I want to just go over the CPR here, and I'm actually just going to go here and change this back into the daily here. Now we're going to come in here and actually look at this on the hourly. So we can see that on the daily CPR, what happened is we've actually lost these central lines here, which is sitting towards the zone of this $2.18 to this 217 region. So we've come down here now and we've hit this R2 line. So this could actually be a pivot point within this, but really, as long as we stay below these CPR lines here in the middle, what we could actually see is price continue to the downside. So we have the R3 here at this 192, and we have the R4 here towards this 184 region. So gonna have to keep an eye on this. If we do see price continue to reject down here, we could actually look to retest some of these lower levels. If, however, we are looking for that corrective structure, we could argue that we could see that reversal to the upside. Now, some targets for this would obviously be, we need to be aware that we could reject off of this R1 line here at this 209 now, if we do move back up into this level. Alternatively, these central CPR lines, if we do manage to break back above these, what we could see is price be gravitated towards this S1 line at this 226, S3 at this 235, S2 at this 235, S3 at this 244, and this S4 up here at this 252 level. So if we do see price continue to push up here, this could actually come into some of those zones. Now I'm going to flip this over onto the weekly here, and we're going to go over some of these levels. We can see that we do have these central CPR lines, which are currently sitting here between the zone of this 195 to this 191 level. If we do see price continue down here, I'd be interested to see how we react around these levels. If we do find support, what we could see is price actually look to move back to the upside here, in which case we'd have to watch this S1 line as a potential rejection area at this 215, S2 here at this 234. But if we do move above that level, we could actually see price be gravitated towards this 255. So that would be looking for that potential to actually push up one more time here. Alternatively, if we do look to break down deeper, we have the R1 at this 175, R2 at this 153, and the R3 at this 135 level that I will be keeping an eye on here. These will reset as of Monday, so we need to just also be aware of that fact. Now, what we can see here on the monthly is that we actually came back up into these monthly CPR lines, and we've actually rejected. So if we see price move back to the downside here, and we actually fail to hold this 178 level, what we could see is price could start to get gravitated down to this R2 line at this $1 level, and then even deeper here we have this R3 line at this 46 cents. Now, it's not saying that it has to move down to those levels. These are just potential pivot points throughout the month that we could see price move to. So once again, you know, even if we do see a move down here where this becomes A, B, what we could actually see is if this is not completed, this could form some kind of a flat correction here, where we actually see price come back up here and retest either these central lines, or potentially even push up towards this S1 line at this 309, the S2 line at this 368, and this S3 line at this 241 level. So gonna have to keep an eye on those levels. If we do see price move up here, we can look to potentially retest some of these key areas. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.